Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome once again to NoDQ&A Video, the official Q&A video series for NoDQ.com. WWE Money in the Bank is this coming Sunday live on pay-per-view. Make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the very latest regarding Money in the Bank. With that being said, let's get right down to your questions. By the way, you can submit questions, formspring.me/Aaron Rift. Bookmark it so you have that place to go whenever you want to submit a question for NoDQ&A Video. First question today comes from Tommy C21. With the Triple H and Vince McMahon storyline rumored to last until WrestleMania 30, do you see The Rock versus Triple H at WrestleMania with Rock representing Vince in the match with ownership on the line? And how would you book this? And I love this show. I'm not sure that The Rock is currently in WWE's plans for WrestleMania. In fact, I'm wondering if this whole Vince McMahon Triple H power struggle storyline is so they have something big for WrestleMania in case The Rock doesn't do the show. Because the last couple of years, The Rock has been part of WrestleMania, and WrestleMania has done huge pay-per-view numbers. But what are they going to do this year if The Rock's not available? So I think that they've come up with this storyline, and if The Rock ends up being available for WrestleMania, I think that they could put him into the storyline somehow. You know, there's a lot of different ways things can go. I mean, you have The Undertaker, who knows what's going to happen with him at WrestleMania, who his opponent will be. So I don't think plans are set in stone yet for WrestleMania. But as you mentioned here, the idea of possibly the ownership being on the line, full control of the company, I think that that's a good idea. I think that that would be something interesting for WrestleMania. But right now, it's just too early to know what's going to happen with this storyline and what the exact plans are. I mean, things could change between now and then. They still got plenty of time to go in a different direction. All right, this one comes from Stro IJA. This might be an obvious one, but what are your opinions on Magnus being the fourth member of the Main Event Mafia? I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, at first, the whole idea behind the Main Event Mafia was all the members would be former world champions. And obviously, Magnus hasn't been a TNA World Heavyweight Champion. But on the other hand, I like the idea of giving him the rub by being part of the Main Event Mafia and making him a main event superstar by associating with Kurt Angle and Sting and so on. So, you know, part of me thinks it's silly when you look at the logic, but part of me thinks that it's a good idea and it will help elevate him. And clearly TNA is very high on Magnus. And, you know, I think he has a lot of potential. So, you know, I think overall I'm happy with him being part of the Main Event Mafia. And, you know, it's probably the best they can do, honestly. I mean, they're not going to be bringing in Scott Steiner. And I guess things didn't work out with Kevin Nash. So, I mean, you have your five guys. And, you know, I'm fine with it. You know, I think that all things considered, he's probably one of the best choices they could make for Main Event Mafia members at this point. All right, this one comes from Teeny Tiny 123. Hey, Aaron, are you a fan of part-time wrestlers? Personally, I think they should commit fully if they want to be in WWE. Please answer in video. Well, it's WWE's decision if they want to bring in guys on a part-time basis, and I think it's good when you bring them in once in a while to try to boost up numbers. I mean, clearly The Rock made a difference when he came in for WrestleMania, and even the Royal Rumble, the pay-per-view buy rate went up. Although, you know, the downside is you're paying the guy a lot more money, so you have to see a big increase in order for it to be profitable. But, you know, with guys like Chris Jericho, I think it's great that he's coming in and, you know, he can take time off and do Fozzy and not get stale. And when he comes back, he's a fresh face again. So, you know, especially with some of the legends and the guys that have been around for a long time, you know, I think it's perfectly fine to bring them back every now and then for a big dream match or whatever. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing Batista return on a part-time basis. I think it would actually be a bad idea to bring somebody like Batista back full-time. But, you know, if you want to bring him in and have him face Brock Lesnar on a big pay-per-view, you know, I think that's smart business, and I would certainly do that if I was WWE. All right, this one comes from Jeroen Inc. Do you think fans that didn't watch and follow the Attitude Era have a better time enjoying today's product? I'm 21 myself, and I have watched a lot of the Attitude Era on the net, but I enjoyed today's product as well. Well, I definitely think that the Attitude Era fans are spoiled. I mean, if you started watching wrestling during the Attitude Era, I mean, WWE and WCW were going at it, and they were trying to outdo the other company, and because of that, you saw all sorts of crazy things happen on free television. I mean, you had major title changes on free TV, and you had hardcore matches, you had ladder matches on free TV. I mean, all this stuff was going on, so absolutely fans during the Monday Night Wars period were very spoiled. And, it was moving too fast because guys were getting injured a lot. And, I mean, Edge might be wrestling today if he didn't do so many TLC matches over the years. So I think it's better to slow down a little bit. Some fans are upset that wrestling doesn't have all the crazy spots like it used to. But the fact is the performers need to be in a safe environment. And I think the most important thing is good storytelling and creating interesting characters. I mean, you don't have to have constant chair shots and people going through tables. And I also think it's better to do things in moderation. I think too much can be a bad thing. And, I used to remember all the times that guys would go through the Spanish announce table because it didn't happen all that often. But, after a while, it got hard keeping track of it, and it just didn't mean anything when a guy would go through the announce table. So, like I said, best to keep things in moderation so when it does happen, it's something special and you remember it. How important is an entrance song for a superstar? And what are some of your favorites? I got to give it to both CM Punk songs. While it's not critical, I do think that it is important for a wrestler to have a catchy, interesting theme song, and that's one of the problems with TNA, in my opinion. None of the songs stand out, and they're very generic. When you look at groups like DX, everybody knows their theme music, and Stone Cold Steve Austin with the glass shattering. It is important for fans to have something that they can identify the wrestler with. And, it's part of the whole package, the entrance, the Titantron, the character, and the costume, everything, all of it adds up. So it's definitely important. Hey, Aaron, did WrestleMania 30 get moved from Madison Square Garden for capacity reasons? Because WrestleManias 1, 10, and 20 were all at Madison Square Garden. The reason that WrestleMania 30 was in Louisiana, or is going to be in Louisiana, is because WWE wants to keep running in stadiums. The bottom line is WWE is got to make a profit, and if they book in Madison Square Garden, I mean, sure, it's cool for nostalgia, and it goes with the theme of 1, 10, and 20 being in MSG, but they would lose a lot of money running in MSG. I mean, the only way they could even come close to making up and making as much money as they would in a stadium, they would have to jack up the ticket prices to ridiculous levels. And I mean, perhaps people would still shell out that kind of money for WrestleMania, but it's just a business decision. WWE wants to be able to make as much money as possible off WrestleMania. It's one of their biggest cash cows of the year. So from a business standpoint, you have to do it in the stadium and not worry about the nostalgia. That's just the reality when it comes to business. All right, last question today comes from West Hill 007 or 007. Hey, Aaron, how would you book John Cena versus Hogan, and who would win? Well, first of all, it's too late to do John Cena versus Hulk Hogan. Even if Hulk Hogan left TNA today and went back to WWE for a special appearance, he just can't do it. He can't really wrestle anymore. And, if you were going to do this match, it should have been done several years ago, maybe 2006, 2007, when Hogan could still work his way through a match. Now, if I was going to book it several years ago, I clearly would have had John Cena win. I mean, there's no point in having Hogan win. You want to put over the younger guy and the guy who is your current star. So, if I was going to do Hogan and Cena, it would be similar to Hogan and The Rock. And, John Cena would win, and after the match, Hulk Hogan would give him his props, and then John Cena would leave the ring and let Hogan do his pose down or whatever. I mean, that's how I would have done it. All right, that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Keep subscribing, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. check out the other videos I've been posting. I just posted my most overrated matches and most underrated match videos, and got some interesting feedback. And I said it in the most overrated video. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me, and it wasn't all just my opinion. It was also the opinions of NoDQ.com visitors, because for all those videos, I get input on Facebook and Twitter, and that's how I come up with the lists. So don't take it out on me if you disagree, because it's not all my opinion. I mean, my opinion definitely is influenced, but it's also the opinions of the fans as well. So check out those videos, and like I said at the beginning, stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest regarding Money in the Bank, and I will see you next time for more NoDQ&A video.